Welcome back, everyone, to a special episode of Against the Call. I'm your host, Nick. I'm joined by my co-host, Michael. If you guys couldn't already tell by the title, we are joined today by a former Nitro mascot, Joey W. And and I don't know about you guys, but it's an honor to have him on. Joey, how's your day going so far?
Going good, man. How about you guys?
It's going great. It's great to
Going
have you
great here.
on, man. It's great to have you on. Recently we were able to see, you were taking some videos for like you're behind the camera for a lot of the UCF baseball games and stuff like that. And one of my first questions is, what's that like for you behind the camera at UCF?
Dude, it's honestly awesome because that's what I studied when I attended UCF too. So I can never really juggle the two because obviously I'd be at games as Nitro, so I couldn't have a camera with me. But it was so cool because I kind of know the game day from a different perspective. Obviously, I wasn't a player or anything, but just to kind of when fans are going to get hyped, like kind of who to find, and like I've been able to like when I go handheld, like hype people up and kind of have that Nitro energy still inside me. Like I get the kids all excited. The moms and dads going wild too sometimes. They're not even drunk yet, like they're just having fun. So it's just cool to kind of have like just that literally like no pun intended, see it through another like lens. Like that was so corny, but it's really the truth. Like I've been able to see games through an entirely different perspective, and I think it's a unique one too, just kind of knowing the flow of not really what's going on in the game, but just people, I guess.
Yeah, and I like how you put it like you see it in two different perspectives because you're playing as just a regular fan. No one knows you're Nitro, and then you're just in as Nitro. It's awesome. But my first question I have for you is, how did you even become Nitro? Like, what was that process like?
Dude, honestly, it was really funny. So I went to Valencia College first. So I did my 2 years there. I did like a film program there. And while I was there, I was working for a like graduation photography company, and we were doing a UCF graduation. So I was doing photos, and I guess we rented Nitro for like an hour. I didn't know at all. And I'm like the youngest guy on the team at the time. I was like 19, and they just stuck me with him like, hey, run around with him, get pictures with him with your grads, right? So that was like my first like taste of like hanging out with Nitro. I'm like, oh, this guy's awesome. So when I saw they posted tryouts, um, I wasn't a student at UCF yet, but I asked the coach like, "Hey, can I try?" He's like, "No, you got to be a student." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then I forget if it was that same year or the year after. Um, they posted tryouts again, and I was like, "Hey, I'm coming in the fall. Can I try out if I'm like gonna be a student soon?" Blah blah. Because they were just posting on social media, and I was already following just because I was just a basic fan.
Yeah.
And man, shoot, COVID happened, and I had my tryout on Zoom. Funny enough. And then we had to like try out again in person just to make sure no one was like bluffing because we did like burpees, like workouts and stuff on Zoom. It was really funny, dude. Like I'm back home, my parents like doors shut, like doing push-ups and jumping and whatever, man. It was wild, but we were like dancing and stuff. So that's kind of how I found out. It was honestly just I kept in like tune on their social media. And I tried out on Zoom, and I had to retry out every year since. So I've had a taste of like what it's really like. But yeah, the Zoom tryout was interesting, dude. It was fun though. They had us like make like creative videos and stuff, and I do a lot of like photo and film stuff. So it was a nice little it definitely kept me busy during COVID. Like I wasn't bored.
Oh yeah.
That's for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
COVID had to have been like the weirdest time to, interview for Nitro for you. But during the interview process, were you nervous about getting the job or did you know you had it in the bag?
I'm not gonna lie, I was totally nervous, dude. There was I think when I did it, there must have been like 20 something people trying out, and you could see everybody on Zoom. Like, so it felt like a real tryout where it's like I could see my competition or whatever, right? Um, Little did I know that one, it's more than one person, and two, that they had like the kids that were retrying out were in that call too. So here I'm thinking like people are like laughing together. I'm like, oh man, like these guys are way upper hand. Like they're way cool with this guy. Like whatever he's saying is like hilarious. I'm like, dude, what? Like, what am I doing wrong right now? Like, and this is like these Zoom calls would last like a good 4 hours sometimes, man. Like it would go. Like we had like two of those. So
Wow.
yeah, it would go. I mean, the breakout rooms, all that stuff. But yeah, I
Yeah.
was nervous, man. I honestly didn't think I had it in the bag until like the very end. Um, we did like a day two type thing, like the first wave got cut, and I was like, okay, man, the first wave, like there's some potential here, man. Maybe I'll get in. But yeah, I think after that, I was like, I think I'm there. And I got a call, and it was awesome, dude.
Now, with the guys that was laughing with the interviewees and interviewers and all that stuff, did he get the job as well?
Yeah, he was a former or current former whatever at the time, Nitro. So he was already doing it, man. And like they had the seniors that were graduating in the call, like to like help the coach kind of find weed people out, take notes. So they were the ones like really vibing heavy with him, and I was like, man, like what's going on, dude? Like what do I gotta do, man? Like I don't know, but yeah, luckily I found out after, and I was like, okay, I was just overthinking.
You showed out, so that's all that matters, and you got the job. But my next question I have for you is: you go to all the sporting events and other events, but other than football, what is the most fun or exciting like sport event you went to?
Ooh, as Nitro?
Yeah, as Nitro.
Oh man, I gotta say basketball just because I can like actually be with people, like
Hmm.
whether it's like dapping up little kids or like messing with the other team, which I'm kind of wasn't supposed to do all the time, but I would. Like I had some good moments with some like bench players, you know, like trying to talk smack. Because y'all probably know our student section gets a little crazy sometimes. And, like there's a reason why that visiting bench is right next to our freaking student section, dude. They heckle like crazy. It's mad. So that's a lot of fun. And then they sit their parents behind them too. So it's like this whole like corridor of chaos, man. So I loved going over there too. But yeah, I gotta say basketball, dude. For sports,
Yeah.
yeah, just because it's so close. Like our football stadium isn't. It's not like an Auburn or something where like the
Hmm.
students are right there, maybe behind a bush or a small wall. Like
Yep.
I gotta jump to give high fives at the bounce house, man. Like those are sketchy.
Now, you're talking about the basketball games, and obviously, me and Mike have been to a few, and we're able to see Nitro out there. One of the main things about the basketball games is whenever Nitro is just rolling on the Heelys. Was that a fun experience for you?
Dude, quick story with that. So I've been healing, right? I'll say professionally since I was like 7 or 8 years old. Like I'd go with my dad to Home Depot or Lowe's, and I would just rip those things. And I think I stopped wearing them like like near the end of elementary school. So when I started and joined the team, and they were like, "Yes, we do the Heelys for basketball," I was like, "No way, dude!" Like I didn't even like forget. I really didn't even like. It was just muscle memory. Like I jumped on those things, and that was the funnest thing for me, man. I'll be honest. That's probably the second best thing about basketball. Just like every time out, I would get on that court because they always would tell us like, "Hey, like timeouts, that's your time to like to entertain. Like the game's not going on, so either they're watching the video board or they're like watching the cheer team or you." So I would try and jump out there and I would like pretend to drive a car or just like touch the floor. Like I would just keep come up with like goofy stuff to do, like drag my sword down or flip the cape. Like, but I love those things, man. I'm glad you brought that up, dude, because there's been other mascots that have been like, "You guys do the Healy things. Like, what's up with that? Like, can we do that too? Like, how's that all work?" So yeah, they're great, dude, and I'm glad like facilities doesn't really get mad at us because yeah, I'm sure it probably scratches up the court a little bit. I don't really know. I may or may not have scratched the court. Who knows? No one ever like came back to me, so I guess it's all right. But
That's awesome. You just like use heal. That's awesome. But my next question I have for you actually is: you on the football field, you interact with the other opposing mascots a lot. Now, is that all improv, or you like is it scripted?
most of the time it's improv. I don't want to like spoil all the beans, but sometimes there'll be some scripted stuff. Like
Uh,
we'll do like a skit sometimes. Like we'll try and plan it out during like a certain timeout because we'll get the whole game schedule, so we'll know like when there's like an on-field presentation or the cheerleading team's going to do something or the dance team's going to do their routine. So like there's like blocks of time where there's like a couple where there's not really much going on, or it's like just a announcement for a sponsor or whatever. So over those, we'll try and do like a little skit. Like this year we did, I think when Louisville came, we made a birdhouse and like demolished it. And we asked them like if he wanted to be a part of it. So like we had this big red birdhouse and we are like, "Hey man, like during this time out, like, cause they're right across from us. Like they stay in that one little corner. If y'all know, like
mhm.
it's about, I don't know, the tower, you know what I'm talking about. They got their own little
Yeah.
spot. So we'll make our way by them and we try and involve them like, "Hey, we're gonna do this skit. If you want to be part of it, it's cool. If not, like it never gets physical because I guess there's some been bad blood history where stuff's gone wrong and punches been thrown or whatever. And it looks bad on everybody too, because like,
Mhm.
I mean, personally, I think good any press is good press, but I know athletics doesn't feel that way and my coaches
Yeah.
don't feel that way. So we try and get them involved. Do they really take the bait sometimes? No. Like this past year, sorry to ramble on though, but like Georgia Tech, they came on and we were like, "Hey, we had a backup plan. Someone's gonna dress up as a bee and get chased with like I made this giant fly swatter and they even said on ESPN, he said it looked like a spatula, so I'm still hurt by that, but It did kind of look like a giant spatula, but it's supposed to be a fly swatter. And the point was, we're just like trying to chase the bee and swat him. You know what I mean? Like we never really
Yeah.
hit him or anything, but we just keep stumbling and missing and just chase him off. So he was really down. So we did that with them. It was awesome. So yeah, sometimes like you gotta have a backup plan in case they don't want to do it, but we try, dude, because it's like you only get to see the away mascots so much, like especially out of conference teams. Like it's just usually we try to just keep it a fun time, like, and
Yeah,
everyone's pretty friendly, like behind the scenes, I guess. But when it comes to game day, yeah, you gotta get a little scruffy sometimes and
of course.
have fun.
Yeah, and with the like, there's a commercial that plays during college football season, basketball season, and it's like I think it's a beer commercial. It's two of the mascots, chilling with a beer, mask off and everything. So you're talking about meeting other mascots. Do you guys have like a middleman that talks between you, or do you guys talk with a mask off?
Yeah, we've honestly we've done like head swaps for fun just to see how they look and stuff. We all hang out together. So like during a game day, we've all got the same locker room. It's usually pretty chill. There's been some awkward times. Like I went to USF this past year, and it was great. But like that first half, man, I felt really like awkward. We were like destroying USF, and I'm there in their locker room, and it was just weird. Like, hey, how's it going, guys? Like, because I go in for a quick water break or something, and it's like, oh, like, they're not too thrilled. It's their senior night, like they're like destroying them, and there's seniors on that team. So yeah, awkward, but usually pretty chill. I've never had any beer with any mascots, but we definitely sit there and drink some water, some Powerade, and yeah, we talk with the heads off though for sure. We'll try and text before the game too to get some plans rolling or whatever.
That's super cool. That's super cool insight, man.
Well, my next question I have for you actually is since you're a student, what is a day in the life as Nitro/student?
Busy, dude. Honestly, like once I graduated, I realized how much free time I had. I mean, really, we'd practice 2 to 3 times a week, so it wasn't too heavy. I know, like other athletes, it's like hardcore, and
Yeah.
they're dieting and everything. But 2 to 3 times a week, and then to fill those, we'd have like a one time a week, early morning meeting, just to go down a schedule because we cover events all over Orlando and sometimes a little bit farther, depending if like it's a wedding or something really special. But we'll do stuff on campus. So if there's like some campus organization doing something or a certain college, they'll request Nitro. Man, I've done like a boss's birthday party that was just a UCF alum, like some lawyer I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like just random stuff. So honestly, it's just trying to juggle that between classes because school's got to come first. So that was the main reason why there's more than one of us is that we can all kind of have lives at the end of the day. But yeah, just trying to juggle that and then not get caught trying to bring the suit to my car, that kind of thing, like or bringing it into a venue, like that's always interesting too. Like what's the tall kid doing with all the UCF swag on in a big bag? Like I wonder who he's with. Like like it's kind of like that. But
With a sword-shaped bag.
Literally, dude. Like, what's that giant gold sword sticking out of that bag? Like, I don't know, but it wasn't too stressful. Like, I had really great teammates, so it made it easy too. And we'd all pick up slack for each other. And if someone's really, going through some hardcore finals, like, one guy was an engineering major, so like, that's hard. So when finals and midterms time came for him, we all picked up, and it was all very balanced. So really, having a great team is what made it easy. But I'm sure it's a little harder for some other mascots, so I can't speak for all of
us. So is there one suit or is there like multiple?
I mean, look, I'm not going to answer the question, but if you look on the Instagram, you could probably figure it out. With a keen eye, we definitely had an old suit as well. I mean, like the one you see at Spirit Splash is not the same one you'll see on a game day. Those are two entirely separate ones. Like, just because that one's just good for getting wet and in the water and stuff, and like it's pretty obvious too. Like, I knew that going in. I was like, hey, so what's up with the whole like Spirit Splash suit? Like, so I remember I asked the coach that before I even got on the team. I was like, hey, it's like, what's with that one? Like, why is it so different? Like, what's the deal? Because like the head is even like tighter and stuff. So, but yeah, I guess I'm trying to answer without answering it. But yeah, there's more than one. Yeah.
Well, you also meet a lot of people, like you said, as Nitro. Now, who is the coolest person, whether it's a player or not, that you've met as Nitro?
Oh man. Well, I didn't go to UCF when Mackenzie Milton was like first playing before he got hurt. So meeting him was really cool just because I was like, I was already just a fan, so that was pretty awesome. I met the Griffin brothers. That was really cool.
Ooh,
That's got to probably be up there, honestly.
that is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we hang out with Cartwright a couple times, you know, the university's president. So that's
Yeah.
always just kind of just like fun. Same with Sarah. I don't know. Just honestly, I enjoy meeting more so like our former athletes that come back.
Hmm.
I think it's probably my favorite. There's been other nitros that have met other people. Like when I wasn't in the suit, but when Sway Lee came during, I think it was a little after COVID, kind of met him. You know, it wasn't like we hugged and dapped up or whatever, but like, you know, I was like 2 feet away
Yeah.
from him, so I'm a count it. You know, that was pretty cool though, man. That was pretty wicked. So I don't know. I know I'm just named off a couple, but I can't pick a favorite.
Yeah.
There's so many cool people that come back and visit, and it's not like I can have a conversation with them too. So I feel like if I could, I'd probably have a better ranking system. It's usually like a picture and a quick dap up or something. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of cool people that
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to meet.
Well, I mean, they can say they met Nitro, so it works both ways. And
Yeah, true.
and with that, I mean, earlier you mentioned the practice, and I don't want you to reveal everything. We talked about that beforehand, but what does like a normal practice look like that from what you can tell us?
Honestly, it's a mix of just staying in shape. We'll do workouts, and the big thing is planning. So football season's heavy. We do a lot of honestly, it's glorified arts and crafts, but it's a lot of fun. Like we try and build props, we come up with skit ideas, making signs. So we try and balance it between like working out in gym time, staying healthy, kind of like a wellness check on everybody too. Because when you get busy, you stop seeing people as much, and it's like you only see them during like maybe our morning meeting or maybe a practice. So I'll kind of just take some time, hang out, get that camaraderie going. But it's a lot of just prop building and planning. And then it's weird too, because near the end of football season, we start prepping heavy for basketball season. So that overlap time is very crazy. And then the years that we're doing good too, we got to prep for bowl games, or this year we went to the American Championship. So getting ready for stuff like that, travel plans, who's going to go, who's the backup, that type of stuff. But it's really most of it is working out in arts and crafts, just to be real.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's great.
Well, my next question I have for you actually is dealing not really with Nitro, but with UCF football. We're going into the Big 12 this year. My question for you, how do you expect us doing?
Shoot, man. I mean, look, I'm on the Gus bus all the way, dude. I punched my ticket, take any seat. I think we're going to do all right. I think football-wise, I think we're going to do pretty good. I know volleyball and basketball are really tough. But I know we got a new volleyball coach, so I'm excited to see how that's turning out. I don't know what kind of recruits she's going to be able to pull and all that, but that looks exciting. I mean, we already did amazing in the American, so
yeah.
I don't think we're going to be like bottom of the barrel teams in any sport, to be honest with you. Basketball will be tough. I'm going to admit that. But I still don't think we're going to be last. Like, I think we're going to do pretty good. It might take a year or two, if I'm just being truthfully honest. I think we got some studs on the team. But other schools do too, and that's hard to compete with. But we'll see, because not everyone's finished recruiting too. But
yeah,
football wise, I think we'll do okay. I think we'll be all right. I'm going to the Oklahoma game in Oklahoma, so I'm gonna be there going crazy. Yeah, dude. Like I have a buddy that lives out there, so I'm excited to go see that one. I think we might do all right, dude. Yeah, with DG still on quarterback, like it's gonna be personal.
It's gonna be crazy. The storylines are gonna be through the roof. And
dude, yeah.
Speaking of storylines and stuff like that, I think one of the main questions that anybody watching would have, it's the common question anytime you see a mascot. How hot is it inside of that?
Honestly, so I've done mascots for other things before. It's not as bad as you might think. It gets bad, like especially because we're in Florida and just during a football game when you're running in circles and jumping and your arms are waving up and down for like an hour straight. It feels like I'm swinging that sword or whatever. Like then it'll get hot. But I mean, just walking around, I'm not gonna lie, I break a sweat. But yeah, I will say there's no fan in there. People think that there's like this magical fan that exists up in the head. There's no fan, dude. Like we got fans, but we don't got fans. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no internal fan. Like you just gotta like blow on yourself or something. That's the one where you're gonna get like a little breath of cold air. There's a breeze in the air or something. There's no way, and I'm not drinking through that helmet either. So. Yeah, you just gotta condition and be ready, dude. I drink a lot of water before a game day, so yeah.
Wow. That's gotta be I can't even imagine that. Like I feel like I'd faint out there. But the next question I have for you is you have taken so many pictures, I bet. And what is your go-to pose as Nitro?
Ooh, it's got to be the point. So if I got someone next to me, like I'll put an arm around them, and a lot of people like pick up on it too and do it with you. But I just like point like as red the camera. It's really cool when cameras are close too, because like you can kind of get like this effect, like a giant gold hand, and then like Nitro in the background. So I probably do that one. Yeah, people like to pick up on that too, or just like hold the sword, like especially like more older people. I pick up the sword like a kid and like hold it in front of their body. That way, it kind of can both kind of holding it and covers their chest.
Yeah.
But that's my. I know you said one, but that's my top two: pointing and holding the sword. Yeah.
So does every Nitro have their own kind of like mentality? I mean, you're talking about different poses and stuff like that. Is every Nitro unique?
Definitely, but we try not to be, because you know the goal at the end of the day is like you don't want to know if I was in it or if someone else was. So that's one thing we harp on in practices too. Like when I first joined the team, we would walk like in a line, and like everyone has to try and walk the same. Like those type of games we would play like when you're new. Because you just want to try and match everybody. You don't want to know that, you know, Joey was Nitro Saturday, but he's not on Tuesday. You want to think we're all the same. So, and not everyone's like the exact same height. So sometimes I'll give it away. But yeah, everyone's definitely got their mannerisms. Like there's one guy I know that he claps a little different than everyone else. And I just immediately know when it's him, dude. Like just the way he claps, I'm like, yeah, like I know who that is. Or one guy, like the way they walk, you know, stuff like that. So everyone's got a little thing different, which I think is good. Like it's some personality to it. But yeah, try your best not to, but it happens.
You're probably the only person out there that can like pick up on it, though. I mean, I don't think anybody else is really realizing that. I know you're talking about like the slow clap that he kind of does. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right, that makes sense.
That's the awesome part doing production with athletics and being on the cameras. Like we'll talk on the headset, and if Nitro's at a game, I'm like, oh yeah, that's blank and blank. Like I know who that is. And they'll be like, how do you know, man? Like, oh, it looks the same. Like just trust me. Like just wait for him to clap or wait for him to say hi to somebody. Like the wave, you never know. And then it'll happen. I'm like, yeah, and like just confirms it. I don't even need to zoom in and try and like look under. I'm like, nope, I know. That's blank.
This next question may lead into a few series of questions, but for you joining as Nitro, is there like a non-disclosure agreement that you have to sign, or is there any sort of contract there?
I can't remember signing anything like blood oath type stuff, but there definitely was a verbal agreement. Like, hey, try not to tell people. I lived with two like new guys I knew from high school my first year doing it, so they were my two roommates, so I had to tell them. But other than that, I try to keep it close knit. I did not tell any friends. One friend leaked it to a couple. I'm not gonna name him. He knows who he is. He's watching. he told a couple friends, and I was like, man, like I was gonna do that eventually, but yeah, because it's always weird. It's like, you know, I'm always unavailable on a Thursday or something, but I don't have class on that day, so it's like, especially during COVID, everything was like online. So it's like, what is he doing? Where is he at? Like, what's to be done? You know? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just busy. Like, second job. I don't know. But no, there's no document. I mean, we sign the same kind of stuff as like most student athletes do, because you know we're considered student athletes under our like our current standings or whatever. So you know, just the basic like NCAA rules. You know, don't bet. You know, don't say bad words. That kind of stuff. You know, like. Don't hack the Nitro account and post something crazy, you know, that kind of thing. It's a lot of just verbal rules, like, you know, just don't do this, don't do that. Try and not let anybody know, and don't ruin it for the next guy type thing. But yeah, luckily, no document I had to get a lawyer for.
So did your roommates, after, you know, seeing you out there, did they ever come to you and they were like, dude, you missed it. Nitro did the coolest thing and you weren't there to see it?
I think so. I've had friends, the roommates didn't, but I've had friends for sure be like, they'd say stuff like, oh, that's so wild. Like, I should just take it off, man. Like, especially like football games, dude. Not as much during like that COVID year, because we couldn't go on the field. We were like up in the stands, but they would see Nitro in public or something. And I'm like, yeah, I totally saw you today walking to class, man. Like, that was me that ran up to you and was like, giving you a noogie on the head or something. Like, dude, of course. Like, or I had a girlfriend at the time. I'd run up to and like I'd give her a hug or whatever, and like sometimes she'd know it was me or not. Like I wouldn't. Sometimes I try not to tell her. So like stuff like that. But yeah, I've definitely had friends like say something about Nitro, like a photo that we post or something, and was like, oh yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, it wouldn't come up too much though.
Does have to act like you don't know anything.
Yeah,
But
Honestly, I feel like it came up more once I told them because then they'd be like, "Okay, was this you or not?" And then like they break down whatever happened. I'm like, "No, it wasn't me, or it was." So,
every picture they have with Nitro, is this you?
literally, dude.
But my next question I have for you is, it's the war on I-4. It's coming to an end, and when I went to a basketball game with my dad, he's a USF fan, I'm a UCF fan. It was so much fun. Nitro just put like buckets on his head because he would wear all the USF stuff. But what are your thoughts on the USF UCF rivalry coming to an end?
I'm sad, man. I'm from Tampa, so and my mom got her master's from USF, so it's a family division. She's a UCF fan because of me, thankfully. I don't let her wear any more USF merch. We threw it all out. I'm just kidding, but no, I'm sad because it was cool having like a neighbor so close and
Yeah.
being able to have that rivalry like that. I feel like our next one's probably going to be UF if we're talking in-state.
Hmm.
But we're not in the same conference, so I don't know. I know they're trying to schedule games and stuff. That's just my guess. I feel like it's cool, but I don't know. I think it'll still always be there. Kind of just like low key, but I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, USF can join like a Power Five conference
Yeah.
eventually. I personally don't think they're there just yet, but eventually it'd be cool to reignite it. Maybe in a decade, we'll see. We'll all be old and graduated, but I'll still go and tell USF how much I hate them. But until then, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna miss it for sure. It was definitely a lot of fun. Like no matter what sport, it was all those games I look forward to. Whether it was like volleyball, soccer, football, baseball,
Mhm.
like those are the ones that I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna work this one. Like I'll be there, whether I was Nitro or not. Like those are the fun ones.
Oh yeah. And with UCF and USF having that rivalry, there's always we talked about it earlier, with mascots kind of getting together about playing scenarios and stuff. Did you ever have it could have been fake beef, but what was the most beef that you've had with another mascot out there?
It's gonna sound so lame, dude, but dance battles, man. Because once someone else starts like busting down some crazy moves, you're like, dude, I gotta do that like right now. Like when Navy came here, most of my memories like from this season. So when Navy came, I think I'm forgetting the mascot's name. Oh my gosh, it's like a ram though.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
totally forgetting.
Yeah.
Rams? No, that's UNC. I don't know. I'm forgetting. I'm sorry. Shout out Navy. But they were so cool, those guys that came. But when he came, we were like in our end zone right in front of the student section. He started dancing. I'm like, oh snap, dude! Like we like just taking a picture together too. I felt like I got stabbed in the back. So we just had like a little dance. I remember like doing some break dancing. My shoe almost fell off, but I saved it and like did one of those little lands on the ground. Like it was tough, dude, because like they're usually all great people, but
Mhm.
you're like, it's my home crowd. I'm like, you're really trying right now. Like you're really dancing. Like, no, I gotta really dance, and I'm already dead from running the flag up and down the end zone or dancing beforehand. So it's tough, dude. It'll catch you by surprise, and you gotta win, dude. Just because the home crowd's there doesn't mean you get an automatic dub. So that was a tough dance competition. I did have one with Rocky though at the last USF game. It was right after like I think it was that crazy catch we had for the touchdown. It was something. It was a long time out. They were doing a review, and they put us on a 2-box split screen up on the jumbotron. So like he's on one side and I'm on the other, and we were dancing. I think I killed him, man. I think I destroyed. I need that clip. I've been looking for it forever. But yeah, there's good times, there's bad times when it comes to that beef. It's always the dances though. That's number one.
I think you won because there was probably more UCF fans at USF Stadium. But
That's so true, dude.
But one of my next questions is, you got to lock in whenever you're in the dance battles. And whenever you come into that Nitro suit, you put it all on. Do you have to lock into another persona, or is it just basically you in a suit?
I think after my first couple times, it became your latter option. It was just me in the suit. But the first few times, I definitely was like super nervous. I felt like I had to hold up a lot of expectations, especially to the guys that already graduated that like have that input on like who's going to be next up. I feel like I kind of owed it to them. And like also just the fans, like people like really love and get hyped about Nitro and most mascots, and rightfully so. Like it's a box of fun coming out at you, man. Like you got to be high energy. So I was definitely nervous at first, like thinking of all the little things I get critiqued on at practice. But I think as I got on, like it probably made me a better and like a more fun person. But I think they started to like coincide and just we became one, dude. Like like deep down, it's like I'm still got a little Nitro in me for sure, and there's a little piece of me hopefully on that suit still or something. I don't know, maybe some sweat embedded in there. But yeah, we after a while it was night and day.
Dang.
Well, that's awesome.
You know, you
Two
talked
different personas.
Yeah, two different personas. It's like split personalities merging into one.
Yeah, man.
Earlier you talked about you losing the shoe in a dance battle. And that brings up the question, what's been one of the more embarrassing moments for you as Nitro?
Oh, I've had a couple, but I tried to save them. Man. So luckily, I've never fallen out. The one that usually happens is when we do the pyramid with the cheerleaders. Like on the very top, people will fall out of that, and I fell during practice a ton, but never during a game, thankfully. Um, so I was gonna say that because there's been some close calls for sure that I've like had my heart racing. Man, honestly, I almost ate it pretty hard with the Heelys one time. And it was because I think like some hair or something. Because like we walk around in them, so they're like clanking around on that carpet around the basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go on the court, you actually start wheeling around. So I'm not gonna know if there's like a big wad of hair in there or a piece of gum, whatever. But I remember going out there and like it immediately like getting stuck. Like I put my foot out and it just stuck, and I started like stumbling forever and ever. And I don't think I fell, but I probably fell later because like I didn't know what I was like. Oh, this is just something's going on. But basketball is probably the most where I've like been embarrassed. Like all those newspapers, dude, that they put in the student section,
Oh, yeah.
and I try to walk in the student section. That is just like a wet floor sign. Like I'm remembering now. I busted ass really hard in the student section on one of those newspapers, like in a crowd of people. And it was like when the man, like when Spider-Man like almost dies and they're all like carrying him and stuff. It was almost one of those moments. Like I slipped on a newspaper and like everyone caught me and I just had to like play it off. But I'm like, man, there's like 80 newspapers over here. Like, what's going on, dude? Like, I'm like, it's like playing hopscotch. Like, I can't even walk anywhere. So probably that. That's my final answer. Probably that.
Well, luckily you can just play it off since you're a mascot. Oh, that meant to happen. I did that on purpose.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, that's happened to me.
Fall off. Yes, it's a hazard.
Those
man.
are slippery for the students, even.
Yeah, dude. We got to write a letter or something, get that resolved. Like,
But my final question I have for you is, in a recent clip in TikTok me and Nick made, we did a mascots draft, and I took Nitro in my top 5 picks for the sole reason of his giant sword. Why is the sword so big, and how long is that sword?
well, first off, I saw that clip, and thank you. I appreciate the shout out and the love. The sword's pretty big, man. I mean, the hilt itself, like, it's not some skinny little hilt. Like, it's got a fat knob on the end. Like, you really got to grip it and not try and lose it. But man, I mean, I've let fans hold it a bunch. So hopefully, if you guys ever see Nitro again, you ask nicely. Sometimes we kind of let you. That's kind of my policy. I always give the kids. So hopefully, you can hold it for yourself one day. But it's probably a good like 3.5 feet, 4 feet long. Like it's pretty long, man. It's pretty thick too. Like, yeah, it's sounding a little sus, but you know what I'm saying. It's pretty big. It's a pretty big sword. Yeah. I'm gonna stop talking.
The sheer length of a man's sword.
It says a lot, dude. And those boots are pretty big too. So you kind of add it all together. It's hey, come up with your own assumptions.
You're talking about with the kids getting the sword and stuff like that. I know, and you mentioned it before, the fans weren't even drunk and stuff like that. A lot of fans, get drunk at the games, crazy stuff happens. My question for you would be, what's the most interesting fan experience you've ever had as Nitro?
That's a really good question. Oh my gosh. I've had so many odd ones. But a lot of wholesome ones, man. That's a really good one, dude.
Feel free to share the wholesome too.
Okay.
We're a wholesome podcast, so.
I mean, this might be considered wholesome. I don't know. I wasn't allowed to like keep it, but someone threw a beer can at me during a tailgate one time, and I caught it, but then I had to like toss it away because we can't have any beer or anything. But I thought that was cool. Because they're like, "Hey, heads up," and then they actually like chucked it at me. I was like, it's like OBJ, like, yeah, dude, hit it with the Odell. So that was cool. Man, interesting fan experiences. I mean, there's a lot of great fans, dude. Like, some people are just so nice and will like just say the nicest things to you, and like, oh, I remember when you were at this and this and this, and like, even though deep down I know it wasn't me personally. I know it was Nitro, and it's like, it's just so wholesome, dude. Like,
yeah.
People really remember like the interactions they've had, and like signing like a card for a kid, or like a baseball game, or not baseball, a basketball game. A kid brought a basketball and I signed that. I was like, oh my gosh, you sure? Like, it's a brand new ball, man. Like, stuff like that. Thinking about it, interesting. It is still wholesome. We did like a signing day type thing. It was, I forgot what they called it, but it was in the arena this past year. I think it was like maybe right before football and everything started. But they had like players from every team out there, mostly seniors. And Nitro had a booth and I was there, and like just for 2 hours straight, it was like a convention, just like signing stuff and like getting up and taking pictures of kids and parents or whatever. So I'd say that's probably like my best fan interaction ever. Just like it felt kind of like a celebrity moment too, just to like sit down and like just sign autographs for 2 hours. Cause like I personally would never do that, but like as Nitro, that's something that like, that's like so normal. So I think that was really cool too. And like, I take a lot of pride in how my Nitro signature looks. So, it was good. Like it felt fulfilling. I'm like, this is turning out pretty good, man. Like they'd have like the big, like a poster of football, and it was like Gus Malzahn signature, and I forgot who, like JRPs was there. You know, just a bunch of like our big players, and I'm like, oh, Nitro, like nice and big right next to them. Yeah, that's me. Like, so that's probably my best one, is signing stuff for kids and just the wholesome stuff. Really, the bad ones I've had are usually with like other fans. So in terms of UCF fans, they've all been great.
Of course. And with the signature, is that something you guys practice as well? Is it every single Nitro signature the same?
It's supposed to be. We get as close as we can. But yeah, we have one of those like stencil sheets, like like second grade, you learn how to like really write for real, like capital and lowercase letters, like tracing. We have one of those, and yeah, that's a really good cheat sheet, honestly. But yeah, we practice like signing like the like baseballs, the inside of cups, like just for different things. We practice it with the head on and gloves too, just because the visibility is so crazy different than just signing stuff on my own. So yeah, we try to take pride in it as much as it doesn't come around all the time. But when it comes signing time, you better be ready. Like no matter if it's a marker, pencil, pen, like you better be ready.
And now this next question, it comes from some of the fans, on Twitter. For me, I try and communicate with a lot of the UCF fans on Twitter. And there's this one guy, and he's very, very passionate about UCF's gold jerseys and bringing them back. And for you to, be on the football field a lot of the times, is that something that you'd like love to see back, is the gold jerseys?
Dude, definitely. As someone that was dripping in all gold, I would love to see the all gold jerseys back. I think they were sick. I love when they did the night mode this year with like the black and like the reflective gold numbers. I thought that looked so raw. Like we were trying to get a suit made like that, low key.
Oh,
yeah, I know, right? That would look like some Batman stuff.
That would have been sick.
I think we took a little too long on the idea, but yeah, I loved it, man. I loved all gold, and again, like for Nitro, I think it would match perfectly. So, just take some ideas from that. Hopefully they do something with it. Yeah, I don't know about going full banana though, like with the pants too, but definitely the jerseys. Like I'd love to see the jerseys back.
Yeah, man, it's an interesting topic in the UCF world right now, so it's great to get insight for sure. As we're getting kind of near the end of this, one of my last fewer questions for you would be, if there's any future Nitros listening, what's one piece of advice that you'd give to them?
Man, if you want to try out, go for it. You never know if you're going to get it or not. And no matter what, it's an awesome experience. And getting to do it was probably the best thing ever in my college career. And I have amazing friends and an awesome family, and I took some cool classes and I've done some great jobs. But being the mascot for UCF was definitely like the best thing I've done the past couple of years. Like it's really hard to imagine. There's so many experiences that I had that were just amazing. Places I got to travel to with my teammates. And yeah, like I met so many wonderful people, even though I didn't get to really speak to like 95% of them because I couldn't talk. My miming gestures were good enough to keep a conversation rolling most of the time. So there's just so many cool people out there you're going to meet. The benefits are so immense. Like there's very little cons and negatives about the whole experience. So yeah. And to honestly, anyone that's ever going to try out to be a mascot or something, like just go for it. You're gonna have so much fun, and it's kind of fun to keep it a secret for a little bit. So yeah, the only downside is you forget who you met as your mascot self or as your real self, because I've already had that happen too many times where I'm like, I forget if we met or not. So I just play it safe and usually like pretend I never met. I don't know. It'll happen. That's my one warning. Have a good memory, because I don't.
The different persona came out, and you black out, and then you don't remember who it is. That
Yeah,
makes
you get a
sense.
nosebleed and pass out, and it's over, man. Just wake up in a coma. Yeah.
And as you've graduated, I got to see you out on the court for senior night, all that great stuff. What are your plans for after college?
I mean, right now I've had the awesome honor of working with athletics. So if that continues, great. I mean, we just wrapped up, I guess, our full season because it was our last home baseball game. And I know softball sadly got eliminated, so I know they won't be coming back home. I guess we'll see how baseball does. I don't know what the chances of they host anything here. If they kill it, I hope. But just as far as I know, that's kind of done. But I do like photography, videography, so I do my own freelance stuff. I'm working with the studio in downtown. I do some editing for them as well. So just kind of keeping it in that realm. Currently applying, looking for like ESPN, big broadcast stuff. So that's kind of why I stayed home at the university, kind of get my chops up because
Mhm.
it's hard when you're applying somewhere and you just got a piece of paper with like not a lot of live experience. Like I have plenty of camera experience, but the live world is so different.
Yeah.
So honestly, just so blessed and fortunate to be able to do that here with like especially the university that I love and be able to still call it home for a couple more months. So yeah, I'm just looking around, man. To be honest with you, hopefully on the bigger and better things. But yeah, I'm really happy I could stay at UCF, and I mean, if they have an opportunity, I hope they call me. But I'd love to stay here. If not, another college or ESPN, NBC, CBS, Fox, whatever. I'll name them all. Whoever can I can shoot live sports with.
Yeah.
Of course, you got a bright future, Joey. We cannot wait. One
Thanks,
of
man.
the last questions that we have for you is, according to Bleacher Report, Nitro is the 27th best mascot in the nation. Do you agree with this? And what would you say to all the other mascots in front of you?
Oh man, I'd have to see the list because there are some great mascots out there. But I'd say we're definitely top 10, and definitely top 15, not 15 though. So it's within that range, I'd say, like 10 to 15, 10 to 14, sorry. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's some great programs out there, man. And like, there's some really talented people that are in suits too, that are maybe a little more flexible and durable because you can't do everything as Nitro. There's some gaps we got to hide. So, y'all don't like see too much or nothing falls off maybe, but I'm just kidding. It's pretty secure. But I'm
Mhm.
not doing like 8 backflips like Cosmo the Cougar from BYU. Like that's a different level, man. Like I don't know if you saw that video where he's like jumping, doing push-ups on the tables and stuff.
Yep.
Like that's not happening around here. We could try, but it's not gonna happen in this current edition. So yeah, I don't know. Definitely whatever list to me. I see it going up since we're joining the Big 12. But no, for a non-Power Five school mascot to be ranked that high, I think is pretty awesome. Regardless, just because literally every school has a mascot, whether they're popular or not, they've all got one. So I just say fortunate to be close to the top 25. I'll just put it at that. They definitely could have moved us up too for just the top 25 kind of clout, but whatever. We'll wait till next year. So
We'll let it slide this time.
We'll let it slide.
yeah,
Stanford Tree was ranked over you. They're barely even flexible.
you're kidding me, bro. What? You're kidding me. Now shout out Stanford Tree. Dang.
That practice is probably weak compared to Nitro, but that's gonna do it for a time with Joey, man. We appreciate you so much for coming on, and like I just mentioned it before, you got a bright future ahead. ESPN, call this man up. UCF Athletics, promote this man immediately if you're listening. And of course, as always, all of Joey's socials will be in the description below. And Joey, just thank you again for coming on, man.
Guys have, man. And speaking of bright futures, you guys got one too. I was watching, of course, a little bit since we first got in contact, and you guys are killing it, man. Like I see all the content y'all put out,
Thank
and
you.
as someone else who also does content, bro, like don't stop. You guys are doing it right, man. And I'm gonna stay tuned. Like this is exciting. So I'm proud of you guys, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
For
man.
sure.